Hey, how's everybody doing today?
Right.
Wonderful, man.
Amazing, amazing. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So today we have special guest Ed here. I did do you mind turning on your camera, Ed?
Oh, I don't mind at all.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So we have Ed here. Ed, he's been into real estate for a while, have a lot of experience in real estate. Everybody remember we was having a conversation on, how to acquire land because a lot of us here want to invest into the ADUs, but a lot of we just don't have the knowledge on, the steps in the process to, start working in that direction to be able to acquire land. So Ed here he's the expert. He's been doing this for a very long time. So I'm gonna let Ed introduce himself, tell you guys about how long he's been doing real estate, the value that he has to offer. We also I don't know if you guys noticed, but we just uploaded a land acquisition course in the classroom section as well. Ed is going to go over that as well for you guys, so you guys can have a better understanding what everything is about. I'm gonna let you take it from here though, Ed. If anybody after he done, we're gonna do some Q&A. So you guys make sure to take notes and ask all the questions that you want. Awesome. So I'll let you take it away from here, Ed.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Julius. Thanks for the introduction, man. Good to see you again.
No problem. You as well. You as well.
Awesome, man. Yeah, well, my name is Ed Zier, and basically, this is what I do. I do land acquisitions all day. Been doing this for the past 10 years, and I'm just trying to share the knowledge and kind of show people what is possible with this land acquisition deal that is going on in 2025, because you can get it creative with it in many ways. You could stabilize structures, you can sell this land as a package deal to developers. So there's a lot of things you can do with land. It's not just one thing, but you don't want to focus on everything. You want to focus on the two things that work in this industry. So we try to focus on strategies where you're little to no money out of pocket as possible. And then on the other hand, if you are purchasing the land, you are exiting with a strategy almost tax free, right? So there's ways to do that as well. But yeah, today we're going to focus on acquiring land. Who here on today's Zoom call has acquired any land in the past or been involved in any real estate? Okay, no one.
Well,
Good.
I'm a real estate agent.
Okay, you are. Very good.
I'm a realtor
Okay,
as well.
a realtor as well. Okay, have you ever been involved in purchasing land in the past?
I have. Mhm.
Okay, very good. Yeah. So, what I want to focus on is something called entitlements, and what that is basically something that it's kind of like a what you call a paper deal. You structure it by having the land and any kind of drawings that go with the land and present it to a developer, and they purchase it at basically at a premium. So um, you could do that by having control of the land, having it under contract, or you could purchase the land outright, let's say for 50,000. And if it's zoned right, you just get an architectural drawing and you package it and make it into a brochure and present it to the right developers. So those developers value those kind of things. It's like giving them, a deal on a silver platter. So, and they pay premium for those. So you can make six figures on those kind of things easy. Um, Now, with that being said, you can also build these structures on your own, or you can have ADUs. It just depends on how the land is zoned. So it's really cool. I mean, in the course, what we talk about is basically how to buy the land, how to get the funding for the land, and how to go as little money as possible on the down payment on the land while you're structuring the deal so you can basically pass it on to a developer and they pay you a premium for the piece of land. So what we're trying to do is, uh, get consistency with little to no money as possible out of pocket with acquiring these parcels. So it's cool. You can also, um, you know, build your own home on this land, right? We all know that nowadays, when you purchase a home, you're almost left with no equity. So the whole point of purchasing a home is that it's an investment in a way, right? You're living in it and it's a good investment. So that's the American dream, right? So the way to do that is use certain types of loans to where you could put the cost of the land with the cost of the construction all in one and only having to put 5% down on the construction cost and the land cost. And if you built the house with the land cost for 500,000 and you occupied the property for a year, you can exit at 800,000. You can make $300,000 off of your home. And those are strategies that are not very popular nowadays, but they're coming to people's attention as we go on with 2025 because people are just, let's face it, people are sick of just buying homes and being underwater like a couple years later and seeing that all their money is going to interest payments. So what's the point of living in a home or somewhere, anywhere, if you're not going to make money off of it, especially if you put a lump sum down payment? So that's just what I believe. I believe that you should make money on anything you put money into. So that's just my belief. But land acquisition is really cool because especially with entitlements, going back to entitlements, there's a lot of ways you can go about entitlements. You can get really creative. I like I like working with realtors, right? So I like to deal with agents directly so that they can pass on what I have to say to the owner and use the agent basically to they know them more than I, right? They already have that relationship. If they have their property listed for the past 2, 3 months and they're asking for a ridiculous amount of money for their land, then that agent will probably give them a reality check and they know their personality and tell them, hey, if you're wanting to sell this lot for, let's say, 200,000, it's only worth 100,000, then you got to get a little bit creative. And that's when I come into the picture and I tell the agent, hey, look, you got to tell this guy that if he wants to sell it for 200,000 and right now it's only worth 100,000, we got to do a paper deal, basically make it look good on paper for a developer to purchase at a premium so that we can both profit and sell this property because no agent really wants to have a property listed all year and not sell and do all the work for nothing, right? You agree?
Yes.
I agree.
Yeah, exactly. So the agent will obviously benefit, you will, and so will the landowner, right? Um, so the message they try to get across is, hey, we're going to have this property under contract with Ed. Ed is going to get some drawings together, and he's going to present this property in a brochure or as a paper deal in front of developers in the area, and they're going to purchase it at whatever price, and we're going to give you the price that you're asking. You can also go back and forth with the seller on their asking. You can always do that. Usually, if they get close to their asking price, they'll always budge, but they'll be happy to do it because they know they're asking for an arm and leg for their property because everybody values their property. They think it's the best property in the area. So once you give them that news and you let them know that, hey, we're going to sell your property for you, and this time it's only going to take 60 days, and you've had it on the market for 6 months, they're going to be happy about it, right? It takes a little bit of convincing, but at the same time, you got to be serious. You have to take you got to take everything serious because you have this property under contract and you do have some earnest money in the deal too, so that you can't just have it under contract while working on other properties as well. You got to focus on one thing at a time. But if you're good at it, you can do multiple parcels at a time. So that's basically what this course is going to be about: is acquiring land, using the right banks to acquire the land, the legal documents, what you need to use, and how to structure the contracts to where you can have it under contract, um, uh, and basically how to uh, set up the deal to where it's presentable to the developer and being able to sell it for a premium because it'll be buildable at that point. So you have the right zoning. If it needs to be rezoned, we'll rezone it. That usually takes time. You always want to focus on like the lots that are zoned properly for that type of structure. Let's say if it's a single family home, right? You want to focus on architects that draw homes. Like they can own they can present that on the brochure to the developer in that area and sell it as such. But I'm happy to take questions. I know it's probably too much information all at once, but usually the questions will kind of clarify where everyone's head's at and where they're at with uh, acquiring land and such.
Hey, I got a quick, not a question, but a quick statement here, Ed.
Yeah.
So can you touch on a little bit more on grants or working with land banks for affordable housing? Can you touch on that topic just a little bit?
Yeah, definitely. So with affordable housing, basically, are we talking about multiple units?
Just both,
Yeah.
multiple units and yeah, both.
Yeah, so you have to find out which it's all about the area. So what area qualifies for affordable housing, right? Which, that's obviously a sweet spot. So if you find anywhere that qualifies for affordable housing, then you fall into a gold mine. So yeah, it's the same process. If you find somewhere in that area or lots in that area, you definitely get grants and such and help from the government, and they basically lend you on those deals because at the end of the day, they want them developed. So if they see you working with developers and they're ready to build and you're letting them know what the plan is and the developers on the line with you guys saying, hey, we're ready to build, here's the projects that we worked on in the past, they'll get you approved for that funding, and then you'll be working with builders to help you put that together too. So the government will be happy to help you with those types of grants, and depending on what state you're in is the amount of money you can get from the government for these types of properties and these types of builds. But if you're trying to get into apartment complexes, um, it's a longer process. It's lengthier. Obviously, the profits there are much greater, but it takes many months to get that approved because you have to have a lot of things in place. I mean, if it's not zoned right, you have to rezone it. You have to get architects, engineers involved. That right there is a little bit more high level. So I recommend sticking with the duplexes and the single family lots that you can just flip real quick. That's just my take, but they're definitely out there.
Yeah, that was another question I had. This is Ifani here. I'm the one we sell the tiny homes, so it's good to see you, hear from you.
Awesome,
Uh,
man.
yeah, yeah, excellent. So yes, I'm interested to hear. I missed your introduction on your background, but then and kind of how you got into the land acquisition. Yeah.
Yeah, what's your question?
That's my question. Was just your background, real briefly, if you don't mind.
Oh, yeah. So I've been doing this for the past 10 years. Basically, I started off with multifamily. I was focused on that until it started just falling through. I mean, you're profiting a couple $100 a month off each unit with the current mortgage rates that you have right now, or the interest rate, sorry. So that's why I like doing land acquisitions. They're just I mean, the profits are it's just greater than renting out a home and waiting on a couple $100 a month left in your pocket after everything's said and done. That's what I recommend. But yeah, I started off with apartments, right? Apartments are very good. You can find off-market apartments, fix them up and flip them, and leverage funding and short-term loans like hard money. There's definitely ways you can go about it with that, but I highly recommend and focus on land acquisition only in my course.
hmm Is this a new course, or you had it around for a while?
It is a new course, yeah. It's actually a new course. So what I originally did is a one-on-one as a real estate consultant. So what I do is you basically would hire me and I'd be on your team the entire way to get the deal done from A to Z. And after that, once you learn the entire process and I'm holding your hand the entire way, you wouldn't really need me after that.
Mhm.
But this right here, we created this course because it's more affordable and it has all the information you would get if you had me on your side. I just wouldn't be there the entire time, except for like Julius convinced me to be on the Zoom calls a couple times a week to answer any questions. So you guys will have access to me during the week as well with that. So I'm pretty much there if you guys have any questions through email or through the Zoom calls. I don't know how long these last, but I'm happy to sit on them as long as possible to get the questions answered, especially if there's struggles that you have with certain steps, because I get it. I mean, if you're on a course just taking in all this information, once you go out there in the field and you take action, it's different than learning. So you're definitely going to have questions no matter what course you take and if someone's not on your side throughout the whole process.
Mhm. Excellent.
But yeah, do you have another question besides that?
Yeah, there's a few people got their hand raised. I don't know if you can see the screen, but there's a few individuals that, and they're also dropping some questions in the chat as well.
Okay. Do you advise against people partnering with each other for land acquisition deals? Advise people against. I mean, really, the whole point of land acquisition is for you to profit as much. Then definitely take them on. There's nothing wrong with partnerships if they work. So there's nothing wrong with that whatsoever. And if you guys are going in on the deal financially, right, together, 50-50, then you have full control of the deal and you can take your time with getting it paper ready for the developer to purchase at a premium instead of being under contract with the seller for 30 to 60 days and rushing everything and being on a time constraint. So partnerships make it more possible just because it gives you the freedom of time to work with things, especially if you're new, right? If you're new, you need that time. Let me see another question.
And then I see you got your hand raised, Christopher. You can come in and ask your question.
Okay. My question is about apartment complexes.
Mhm.
What process would you go upon acquiring an apartment complex? Like I have a a construction company that I've been knowing the owner since I was a kid. We literally grew up together, and he's willing and ready to work with me on developing that apartment complex. But I don't really know the process of going upon that, acquiring something so massive and then developing it and stuff of that nature.
Okay, so he owns the deal.
No, no, no. It's no deal. It's nothing happened yet. It's just been us conversating and him pretty much saying that once I acquire it, he will work with me on developing it and then me renting out those units.
Okay, yeah. So at the end of the day, there has to be value from each side, right? What kind of value is he coming in into the deal with? Like, is he financially valuable? Is his
He's
knowledge
financially
valuable?
valuable. He already has an established company of development. He builds entire houses, he renovates entire homes, he put in pools. You name it, his company does it. He's been around a very long time. He pretty much been working with his father. His father started the company. The company has a lot of grounds, and they've been developing properties and stuff of that nature for a very long time.
Okay, and you're the contractor.
Yes, per se, but I will want to acquire it and keep it.
Mhm. So you would be what we would call somewhat of an angel investor because you're new to these types of builds,
Okay.
right? So which means he's going to have full control as to how this apartment complex build plays out,
Okay.
right? Because you don't have the knowledge, he does, right?
Yes.
But you're going to be financially invested. Um, I would do a lot of homework on that person and what they do and walk the deals that they're working on and talk to him about the deals that he's executed in the past before you jump into something big like that because that requires a lot of capital, right?
Yes.
Um, I don't like that. I like deals that I can walk into nowadays that I have little capital as possible and have big exits, if that makes sense.
Yes.
But at the same time, if you have a reliable partner and he can stabilize a structure for you, I mean, at the end of the day, before you even start anything, right?
Yes, of
You,
course.
you got to make sure that you have some kind of financial forecast, like that kind of statement, the financial statement that tells you, hey, is this going to actually make money? Is it going to be worth more than what we built it for, right?
Mhm.
Is the income going to be worth it? What are we going to be left with every month? What are we splitting, right? Are we
Yeah.
splitting pennies or what are we doing here, right? Apartment complexes, these are a different animal because they're all based on numbers compared to a home. A home's
Yeah.
just a home. There's comps.
Good, bro.
You know what's sold down the road, and you can kind of sell it for the same price, give or take. But apartment complexes, it just depends on how it performs.
Okay.
So I would do a lot of due diligence on that before I get into that big of a project, especially if it's your first one. You said, right?
Yeah, it'd be my first one. I wanted to first move in, like get a duplex on my own, and duplex or quadplex. I can do the renovation myself. I have those hands-on experience. I pretty much done it all by myself before, and I just go about doing that because my actual dad, he did it as well. He has a duplex and a quadplex, and so I have that actual expertise on how to actually develop a house and renovate a house.
Hmm.
I'd rather do it myself. It'll be a lot cheaper, and I can make more money off doing it that way. And I wanted to start off like that, and then just move forward onto that. But I just never. Um,
Yeah, apartments are a
yeah,
different
apartment
animal.
complex is a very scary animal, and I just wanted to try to
They're
get
not
my
scary. You just have to make sure that you're making money at the end of the day. You don't
yeah
want to be stuck with I mean, it's a horrible feeling to have all your money dumped in one basket and it all falls through, right?
yeah of
That's
course
why with like entitlements, you're acquiring land and literally having control of the deal. Like, let's say you bought a piece of it's a parcel, right? A piece of land.
yeah
It's $100,000. We get a land loan on it. You put $30,000 down, which 30% down, and you're making interest payments only, right? Let's say it's $1,500 a month, and it took you about 3 months to get the architectural drawing and get it rezoned if it needs to be rezoned. And you find a developer and you sell it to him for about $200,000, let's say. Well,
yeah
you just made $100,000 off that deal within 2 to 3 months. That's it doesn't get better than that. Instead of investing all your money in an apartment complex and it not paying off until years from the date that you started, right? Because apartment complexes, that's a huge deal. It takes a year to get permits.
yeah
Yeah, it takes a year to get permits. So that's just permits. Imagine the building, right?
yeah of course
So you're talking about a big move, but I would gradually move towards that. I wouldn't start
yeah.
from
That's
the
no
get.
no no no. I want to gradually move towards that. I just want to get your insight on that.
Yeah, that's my 2 cents.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Any other questions? Let's see.
I see you had a question, Destiny. You had your hand raised.
Okay. Okay, so yes, I had a question, a few of them. It was like because I know you keep hearing about like the properties and zoning. Can you hear me? Is my mind mute? And so my question was, do you not already okay, so hypothetically speaking, if I come to you want to work with you, are you gonna pre-check the zoning of the land that I'm buying before I get it? Or do I have to, just get the land and then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, we may have to rezone or zoning. Are we not? I was just wondering, are we checking those boxes before I get the land?
Yeah, so yeah, definitely have to check. Absolutely.
Mhm.
But at the end of the day, it's almost like pretty straightforward what the zoning is going to be.
Yeah.
All you have to do is look at the strip, right, where that property is located. Let's say you have a piece of land that's zoned R1, like residential or something. Everything else is zoned GC, general commercial. Well, you know that rezoning is going to be easy and quick because that entire area is zone that. That's just an old property that
Yeah.
was never applied for rezoning. So you're going to get that zoning. But uh, you know, we also want to shoot for properties that already have the correct zoning. But taking that extra step to rezone it shouldn't be too complicated. But if you're going into a community that's all homes and you're looking to put up like retail, you're gonna have a lot of complications and you might not even get accepted.
Right.
So it's almost self-explanatory. I mean, you drive down a road and you see a whole bunch of stores and you see an empty lot, you know that, what else are they gonna want there, you know?
Right. I was just asking that question because I was just like, is that
Yeah, yeah.
something you guys going to do before I even, be interested in acquiring land? Just like, will we know? But like you said, in any
Yeah,
real estate, you're going to know. It's like if it's right there in a residential,
yeah, we help you with
area.
all that.
Yeah, it's going
Yep,
to be all that. Yeah, I see it. That was the only question I had. Thank you so
absolutely.
much.
No, absolutely. Yeah, we help you with all that because that's a critical point there. Because at the end of the day, if it's not zoned right, then what's the point? No developer is going to be interested in it. So, very good question.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Let's see. Do you guys recommend life insurance for living benefits for funding? I don't know much about life insurance, but I know you can pull money out of it to and reinvest. I don't know much about that area. I can't touch up on it too much. You're just going to have to call that insurance company and see what the possibilities are on draws and so forth. Yeah, I know every insurance company is different. Right on. Can you give us an example using cash amounts to paint a more vivid picture for the potential reward? Yeah, cash amounts. I mean, I think what she's asking is what's the rate of return on your investment? It's definitely greater than at the end of the day, fixing and flipping. I mean, you're tackling on a huge project and you're looking at huge risks and I mean, you never know what's behind the walls. I've done a lot of fix and flips. I've done a lot of things in different things in real estate. I just like land right now because it's easier. You can move it faster, you can control it and sell it and profit off of it without building. So yeah, the amount of cash required in land compared to fixing and flipping, it's just two different worlds. I mean, there's nothing to fix, there's nothing to build, uh, there's nothing you have to worry about that's behind the walls after you take the walls down. Because if you buy a worn down building and you take down the walls to put new walls and fresh paint, and then you find out you have to redo all the wiring and all the plumbing, then yeah, that's a whole nother expense that you didn't even expect and didn't know, right? So with land, you don't run into any of that. It's straightforward. You know what you're going to spend, and before you even, because there's a due diligence period when you have these lots under contract, right? So within that due diligence period, you're going to find out if it can be rezoned, if it's not zoned right. If it is zoned, then great. All we have to do is call around and get a drawing for the type of structure that can be on that property. We call the developers in the area and we tell them, hey, look, man, there's a piece of land. You could build this on it. I've seen you've done this in the past. Um, the home you sold down the road is $1 million. It looks like the construction cost based on the banks that I talked to is $500,000. This land is going to cost you around 250,000. You're going to make $250,000 off the deal. So you've done the math for them per se, and they're going to like that. They're going to say, okay, yeah, well, that's the profit that we expect off each build. That is our exit strategy. That's what we shoot for. So you kind of already have the numbers together when you acquire these lots and have them under contract before you purchase them, right? So you already have all that information.
Can I can I just further go into depth with my question? Yeah, so I think what I was asking is like, is it like, are we buying the land outright first, or are we paying like kind of like how you when you buy a house you pay a mortgage? Like, what does
Yeah.
that look?
There's three ways to go about it, right? You could buy it outright. I mean, you get the best deal doing that because if you have a piece of property if you have land that's listed for 100,000 and you offer them 50 and you come to an agreement at 60 to 75, then you got a huge discount there because you're paying cash. Cash is always king, right? Now, if you don't have that amount of cash, you got to get a little bit creative. Um, partner with the landowner and tell them, hey, I'm going to have this property under contract with you. Here's my plan. Here's what we're going to sell it for. You're going to make what you're asking, and I'm going to make my cut. And the third option is to get a land loan. And land loan, you put a down payment on the land, and you basically pay interest only payments for the rest of that year. You don't want to shoot for having it for the rest of the year. You want to sell it before that because this process only takes 2 to 3 months, sometimes more if you have to rezone, obviously, the lot. But yeah, you can get a loan or pay cash, or you can partner with the landowner and talk to them about your plan. Yeah, thanks for clarifying that. Yeah, I think I went a whole nother route with the question with what I said. But it's a good but I'm glad I brought that up and I misunderstood your question because this strategy is much safer than fixing and flipping because like I said, fixing and flipping, you just don't know what you're getting into. It's profitable, it really is, but at the end of the day, not a lot of people have hundreds of thousands or tens of thousands of dollars laying around in case something unexpected pops up in the property that you have to fix. So if you're planning on a budget, you just can't depend on that number. It's always going to fluctuate with fix and flips. It becomes very difficult. Let's see. You have any more questions? You got 16 people on here.
Yeah, so I see Atis got her hand raised. You got a question, Atis?
Yeah, I do. I'm sorry, I hopped on this a little late, so I don't know if this is an appropriate question or not, but it is about land and purchasing, so hopefully it is.
Yeah.
Um, so okay, so we currently have an acre lot and we want to obtain the lot that's behind us just so they're joint and we have both of them to continue building. So right now it's just, it's just owned by, I don't know, maybe like a family member or something. And we have the information for the contact, and the way that I was going to approach it was to like write a letter or call them and, kind of just do like a love letter, if you will. Do you have recommendations on how to reach out to see? Because right now the land is just, it's vacant. Like nobody lives on it, nobody's doing anything with it, it's just overgrown. So do you have like a method or something you recommend on how to approach reaching out to the current owners to see if they want to sell the land?
Yeah. So off market deals.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think someone just said use a realtor. I don't think Karmic is it?
Karma Katis?
Yeah, Karmic. Yeah, I don't think Karmic is saying that. I think Karmic is saying that they don't have there's these are off market deals. There's no realtor assigned, correct?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, and you found the contact information for the lot owner?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So if you have their information, I would just, send them a letter and let them know that you're interested in the property and, text them, email them, send them a letter, and make them an offer, put an LOI together, a letter of intent, right? Make it a
A
letter of
letter of intent.
intent instead of a love letter.
Okay, a
So
letter. Okay.
yeah, try to do that, because they're looking at numbers at that point. So if they see
Right.
numbers, you have to know your numbers though. Don't make a stupid offer. You don't want to,
Yeah.
your first offer should always be offensive because,
Okay.
it shouldn't, they shouldn't be happy to hear your number
Right. Okay.
because you're there to make money. You're not there to make them happy. You want to profit
Right.
off the deal, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Um, and you bring up a very valid point. I focus on lots that are already listed on the MLS that have been
Mm-hmm.
sitting there for a while. And
Mm-hmm.
you look at the price point, you're like, this guy's crazy. He'll never get that price.
Mm-hmm.
So then that's a good thing. People shy away from that. But I use that to my advantage because I know this guy's desperate to sell. He's sick of just sitting there, uh, paying for the lawn to be cut, paying for property taxes,
Mm-hmm.
cutting down trees that are in the way of the road if it's has any code violations. So, I contact his agent and I, make them an offensive offer. And then, they're going to be like, heck no. But then I say, okay, well, then let's try to get you your number and here's how we can do it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, just, reach out to them with all the information that you have and make them an offer. Just make sure you know your numbers.
Right, right, exactly. And so, question, like, so say I got the number online of like what lots are going for around it, or even what that one's worth, or what they paid for it. Am I going to offer something that's the same as what they paid for, or less than?
So you're looking at the property history and what they paid for the lot.
Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I mean if they bought it in 1980, you're obviously it's worth more than what they paid for, right?
Mm-hmm.
So no, you're not going to go based on that number. You're going to go based on uh what the property values are in that area.
Right.
So,
Do
if
you
it
use like Zillow or something to estimate it, or?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly. So you look at the zip code and see how much uh houses are if it's a house, how much houses are selling for in that area.
Mm-hmm.
And if it takes $500,000 to build $1 million home and that land should go for around $200,000, well, you should, offer it around that number, you know.
Right. Yeah.
Um
And same thing goes because it's just raw land. There's nothing
yeah,
was ever built on.
yeah, raw land. Do you know if it's zoned right? Have you checked all that?
It's it's zoned as agriculture.
Agriculture, yeah, yeah. Okay, yeah. Ag can always be rezoned. Usually it is,
Mm-hmm.
but depending on it's large acreage, right? 2 acres plus
No, it's actually just an acre lot.
acre lot. Okay,
Yeah.
that's okay. What state?
We're in Hawaii. Things are done a little different here, yeah.
Okay, yeah, Hawaii is different. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably a small town, isn't it?
It is. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, reach out to them. I see why you say love letter now because it's in Hawaii.
Yeah, you gotta reach out to the auntie with love.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if it's a small town and um, you know, the area, then you know how to speak to these guys. There's a
Right.
way to talk to them. There's a demeanor
Mm-hmm.
about. So yeah, I mean, reach out to them and see what their take is on it. And if they answer the phone and keep hanging up on you, then just send them a text, be like, hey, I was really interested and I hope to hear back from you. I'll be around and just follow up every couple of months. But don't
Okay.
don't stick to just that deal.
Okay. And then last question. I've heard that we shouldn't say that we own the lot next door because then they know like we really are interested in it kind of thing versus just, somebody who wants to get property.
I would just say I'm an investor in that area. Well,
Okay.
do you own the lot next door?
We do, yeah.
Okay, then yeah, you can say that. I thought
Okay.
you didn't. But yeah, if you
Then
own the lot next door, yeah, it's definitely like,
okay.
hey, I'm your neighbor. I'd
Mhm.
like to find out who you're using for your lawn.
Mm-hmm.
What's your like my property taxes are going up. Are yours going up? I was just wondering. I wanted to check around. I wouldn't go straight if it is your neighbor, you want to talk to him like a neighbor and then ease into the deal, you know.
Okay, because somebody had given advice to not say that because then they know that you are wanting the land and they'll ask you for more.
You know, I mean, it's all about your approach, how you approach the
Okay.
conversation.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, cool. Well, thank you. Thank you for your time. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. You're welcome. Let's see what else we got. Do you recommend leasing commercial property? Okay. Leasing commercial property. Well, if you're leasing, I guess it's better than buying one. But if you're leasing a lot to a commercial resident, then Yeah, I mean, I do land leases. They're good. They're long leases because they're building, they're going vertical on the structure and they're paying for it. And you got to give them a 20-year lease. But if you're talking about having purchasing a commercial property and leasing it, that's also profitable as well because then you're jumping into triple net leases because they're paying your property taxes, they're paying your rent, they're paying all the utilities, they're taking care of all the maintenance. So that's what a triple net lease is. You're completely hands off. So I don't know which one you were after, but I hope I answered all three. And that was from America Arden.
You did. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. I mean, guys, look, I mean, you guys can jump into properties and go about it however you'd like, but I like to be in and out of deals. Um, some of you might be in a position where you can go in on a stabilized structure and lease it out and or fix and flip. Those are profitable too, you know. It just depends on what you're comfortable with. If you have experience, it's always good to take that route. But if you don't have experience, you want to start with land acquisition because there's not a lot of steps to be taken. You can be in and out of those deals quite quickly and make profits. And if you do everything wrong, then you just withdraw from the deal and you move on. You just find another lot. Let's see here. Yeah, basically the course goes over all this stuff. It talks about like the benefits of entitlement, acquiring the land, and walking you through the process of funding, how to reach out to these individuals, how to put it under contract, providing you with the you know places where you can get these documents and the contracts to put together with these landowners, and how to structure that contract and um, not total legal advice, but like just advice on how long the due diligence should be, how much money to have down on the property, banks to use to purchase the property. If you're purchasing the property cash, how you should go about it. Um, America Hardin, how do we get access to the course? So Julius has all that information. We just added it to his platform. He'll definitely be happy to help you with that. So the course was basically built just for people to, have more access to this type of information because, yeah, you're welcome, Ms. Hardin. Um, yeah, so usually I work one-on-one with my clients, and there's a big fee for that, but this is more affordable. It's the same exact information, and you also have me on your side on these calls weekly. Um, however many times Julius is on here, so it's cool. It's a lot of information, and it gives you a lot of tasks to execute. So no rush with the course and finishing it all up because it's all about taking action. And once you start the course and you see the steps you have to take in the modules and you start making those calls and you try to actually get these deals under contract, you're in the game. You start feeling it. You start understanding it more because it's different. Taking action is different than reading and listening and just learning and learning and learning. You got to go out there. You have to actually do this stuff, and it's not that complicated. It's not that difficult at all.
Yeah, guys. So for all the individuals who are interested in getting the course, just after the call, you guys can definitely reach out to me and we'll talk about how we can grant you guys access to the course. And yes, when you access the course, you're gonna have access to Ed to answer questions for you, right? So, and like he said, we're gonna make the course super affordable, right? So if you guys are thinking about, anything regarding land acquisition, I would highly recommend Ed. Been doing this for a long time. This is what he does. He understand the entire business in and out. So definitely, if you guys are looking to learn more about land acquisition, I would definitely say definitely get in tune with the course, and then we'll figure out a date where, even if it's not Monday, we'll figure out another specific date where Ed can come on with all the individuals who got the course. If you guys have any questions, he'll be able to answer those questions for you guys.
Yeah,
But
I'm happy to do that, Julius. Like if they start coming in like just fired up and there's a lot of guys and it's more than just one Zoom call. I could jump on a couple, man. I don't mind it. I want to help them. Like I don't want them to just take the information. I want them to go out there in the field and actually execute. So I'm
right.
happy to do it.
And that's the difference between a lot of individuals who are online that just, selling courses and information. Which with this route, you guys, Ed charge a lot of money for one-on-one. He charged up to 25,000. I'm just being honest. I'm in the same area Ed is in. The area that we're in, there's people out here that's definitely paying the money. So me and Ed came over to the office and we sat down, we talked, and we really want to help you guys out, right? Instead of, you guys paying that whatever he charges up front, he was willing to come in and he see the vision, he understand what we're trying to do. So he's willing to give you guys his time. So definitely guys take full advantage. Because like I said, he charged a lot of money to give you guys that one-on-one attention. So hopping on these calls and getting your questions answered, your specific questions, is kind of like similar to the one-on-one, because you have somebody there whenever you have that specific question, right? So
Yeah, and I think it's good too
That's a
because you go to work that week and you save all your questions for the calls. It's really good. It's almost exactly like the one-on-one. I'm just not there with you on the calls with the banks and so forth because that's what I do in my one-on-one. That's the only difference, really. I'm like holding your hand. But also, I mean, with all the strategies that you have for them to acquire funding, they can start using those funds for these deals. I mean, that there's going to be a lot of courses. Um, I mean, I threw like a whole bunch of modules at. It was a huge course to start with, and I told Julius, I mean, you're going to be seeing modules drop uh, every other day. I mean, we're just going to keep adding and adding information. So um, don't overwhelm yourself and go through the entire course in 1 week. Take it step by step, take action on the modules that you listen to. Don't rush it and save those questions. And I might be able to create some kind of email if they have any questions in the meantime during that week, or if someone has like an emergency question, they're in the middle of a deal. So we could work something out like that too. So yeah, they want to put their money that you help them acquire, Julius, to work, and we can do that for them easily.
most definitely, most definitely. So I got one question myself. And
Mhm.
so what would you say, let's say an individual that don't know anything about land acquisition that want to get into it and start actually acquiring land, what do you think they're gonna get at the end of the course? What do you think they will be able to accomplish by the time they go through the program?
Yeah, the end goal is to
Mhm.
be able to do everything in the course on your own. Acquire the land, use the funding that you help them acquire, and also get introduced to new banks and new loan programs to help them buy multiple deals at a time, and also how to package these deals and sell them to developers. Once you start getting the hang of that, I mean, it's going to be a piece of cake. You're going to have so many pieces of land under contract every month, every 2 months, to where you're making like six figures off each deal. So the end goal financially is to make hundreds of thousands of dollars a year off of just this strategy. And remember, the goal is little money as possible.
Right. And you guys are super lucky because Ed simplified to the T, right? Step by step, he go through every single thing. He simplified to the lamest terms. So I think that's a huge advantage for everybody that's in this community as well.
Yeah, this guy said extra butter for sure. Yeah, I mean, look, man, it's simple. I mean, nobody really wants to have all their money sitting in one deal at once for a very long time. This strategy has you in and out quick, and you make a lot of money off of it. And if you do have a partner, we had a question about partnerships. Partner with each other. Why not? Definitely partner with each other. If you know someone in your family or friends that can afford the land with you, just tell them what your plan is. Sell them on it. Tell them it works. And I mean, the proof is always there, right? I mean, you just got to look in your area and see, like, if you see homes being built in that area, then you know that you can make money off those deals, right? It's just simple as that. If you don't see a lot of construction in one area, then it's also another opportunity because it's underbuilt. So you always have to find those sweet spots. So we have a lot of modules on that in the course. But I hope this was helpful for everyone, and we'll keep jumping on these Zooms weekly just to keep helping people understand more about the course, and you can answer questions for anybody already in.
Yeah, I think Nikita got a question. You want to come in with your question, Nikita, before we wrap it up here?
Yeah, how you doing? I just want to know what's your fastest turnaround and your longest turnaround with acquiring land.
My first deal, I did it in 7 days because I was I was scared because it was the only money I had, and basically I had to be in and out of that deal in 7 business days. But it was zoned right. I might have gotten lucky, but I knew what to do. But realistically, you want to have a land deal under contract for 60 days. So turnaround, I'd say 30 to 60 days.
All right, and what's your longest turnaround?
11 months
Okay.
for a apartment complex.
Okay.
There's a lot of approvals. Takes about a year for permits for that.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, guys. And no matter how many months and weeks it takes, it's a much shorter process, an affordable process compared to building these homes and building these complexes. Again, you can start jumping into these if you are in that position financially to do so. I talk a little bit more about that, but I highly recommend my one-on-one mentoring. It is very expensive, but it's worth your money if you're getting into apartment complexes because you're jumping into a whole nother world. It's not just building and selling. But Julius, let's do this again next week, man. Your audience is awesome, man. These guys are ready to go. Everybody's asking the right questions. I've jumped on lots of pages and I haven't seen here. Everybody has a valid question, and it seems like they have a question for a reason. They're trying to jump into the real estate game, and let's do it for them, man. I appreciate you making this possible for them.
Yeah, no problem. It's what we do over here at the Build Wealth. I see Ati's got one last question here in the
Yeah,
chat.
no problem. Let's do it.
She said, how much did you put down and how much did you profit on your first?
I put $2,000 down. I made 28 or 32 or something like that, $1,000.
Awesome. She said, wow, amazing.
And that's small compared to what you can make off of the deals that I'm talking about. That was like an in and out deal. Uh, yeah. Yeah, let's go. Let's do it. Yeah, everybody should be excited about this, man, because this is like a really new strategy. Now, I don't think a lot of people have heard about it, right? Because everybody sees these fix and flips, and your eyes just like you only really feel it's nowadays. People when they see a building, they think that's what real estate is. It's just if it's a building, when they see raw land, they don't really feel that they can make money off of it. But it doesn't matter how you feel, right? It only matters like what is possible out there. Like if you can execute these strategies and get these lots under contract and sell them to developers at a premium, you want to do that all day, forever. until it expires, or they put laws out there that stop you from being able to do it, or they make it impossible, or where you start having to have you have to have a license to do it. But now those things don't exist. You don't have to have a license. You don't have to be anything. I mean, you just have to know how to do it. That's all you need. So do it while you can, for sure.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. Well, it seems like we don't have any more questions. Ed, appreciate you for coming on board and
Yes,
sharing
sir.
your knowledge and helping, people get more understanding when it comes to acquiring land. I feel like there's a lot of individuals that's on this call that, this is going to help a lot. The fact that we're making this super, super affordable for individuals to be able to come in and learn how to acquire land and learn how to make money from it. That's amazing. So really, really appreciate you for your time.
My pleasure. Anytime.
Awesome, man. We're gonna try to do this as much as possible, get Ed here on the call once you guys, start actually, getting into the program. We're gonna try to get Ed on the call to answer as much questions as possible. So definitely, definitely, definitely.
Oh yeah, man. I've freed up my calendar to do that every week for you guys. Absolutely, man.
Awesome, awesome, awesome.
You're
But
welcome, Nikita. All right, man. Well, we'll see each other sometime soon. I think
oh,
next week.
yeah, yeah, we're in the area. You're in my area, so we can link up at any time, man. And
Absolutely.
awesome, awesome, awesome. Well, if anybody else don't have any questions, we'll wrap it up here for the day. We usually like to keep these calls around like an hour mark. So appreciate you guys for tuning in, and we'll catch you guys on the next Monday call.
Take care, guys.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right.
You're welcome.
All right. Bye bye.